Important developments in the Rolling Hills Revitalization Project, free help for small businesses, and driving home the cost of drinking and driving. We invite you to join us now as we take you inside City Hall this week. Hello, I'm Amy Blaylock. Welcome to City Hall this week, dedicated to keeping you informed about what's going on inside Durham City Hall. There are important developments to report in the South Side Rolling Hills Revitalization Project. The city has been awarded low-income housing tax credits that will help pay for part of the first phase of the redevelopment of Rolling Hills. Investors in the project will now be allowed to claim a $1.3 million annual federal tax credit for 10 years. The credits are expected to help the city and the private developer who is partnering on the project attract nearly $10 million in backing. Of course, the project's future has also been contingent on the city's ability to buy up all of the existing properties within the Rolling Hills site, something that has almost been accomplished as well. City staff says construction on the first phase of the project is now expected to start in the spring. The plan guiding the preservation of historic downtown Durham has been updated. The City Council approved the Downtown Preservation Plan update during its August 1st meeting. The update corrects many references to outdated ordinances and city departments. It also includes updated classifications of significance and condition for each property within the historic district. The update has the full support of the Durham Historic Preservation Commission. A significant project to restore the quality of the Northeast and Crooked Creek watersheds is underway. The development of plans for all of Durham's watersheds is required as part of the federal stormwater permitting process. The permit also requires the development and implementation of a water quality recovery plan for Northeast Creek. The Crooked Creek watershed is included in the project because of its similar characteristics and proximity to Northeast Creek. The City Council received an update on both improvement projects during its July 21st work session, as well as an overview of how watershed planning has been progressing throughout Durham.
The top green area there is Ellerby Creek. That was the first watershed plan that we did. That drains into Falls Lake. That plan is completed, and we do have a list of recommendations from that. Next, we did the sort of brighter yellow area there. That's Third Fork Creek, and that's currently underway. We're almost finished with that project. And then the current one that we're working on now is Northeast Creek, which is in the purple outline there, and then we also included Crooked Creek there, which is kind of that little sliver next to it. We have been working on all of these sort of in a row now, but I think after we finish this last Northeast Creek and Crooked Creek, we're going to take a little bit of break and really concentrate on implementing some of the recommendations that have been coming out of these plans.
For each watershed improvement plan, the city has identified the pollutants that are of the most concern.
For Northeast and Crooked Creek, we have identified several. We usually get those from the state's impaired streams list, or the 303D list, and we also get information from the monitoring programs that we have for the streams in the city. So for Northeast and Crooked Creek, we have some metals. Copper and zinc has been found in some of the streams there, turbidity, bacteria, dissolved oxygen, and then of course nitrogen and phosphorus.
As part of the development of a plan to reduce those pollutants, the city has already conducted or will conduct a number of activities. Those include public meetings, field activities to collect information from the watershed, and finally, field work to identify opportunities to stabilize and restore the streams.
We'll be walking, I think, about 60 miles of streams in Northeast and Crooked Creek to look to see what the conditions of those streams are and to see if there's any kind of projects that we can do to help restore the streams.
Once all the different components of the project are identified, they'll be prioritized.
Not only do we determine how much pollutant removal they can obtain, but we also take into consideration other things like, will it protect the stream? Is there community enhancements or education that could be a part of that project? How easy is it to implement? Is there any kind of public safety concerns with the project? So we do run it through that prioritization criteria.
City staff says most of the projects result in about 20 top recommendations for retrofit stormwater control measures and 20 top projects for stream restorations. The city will then look at that list and decide which of the measures will be incorporated into the final recovery plans for the watersheds. The city is beginning some of the initial improvements needed for compliance with the Jordan Lake and Falls Lake rules. $1.7 million will be spent to make the improvements at the North and South Durham water reclamation facilities. The project includes replacing channel covers that will help reduce algae growth, which will in turn reduce cost and staffing needed. It also includes the installation of instruments and equipment that will allow the plants to better operate and manage changing plant conditions. Both elements are part of an enhanced nutrient removal program to reduce the total amount of nitrogen and phosphorus discharged at the plants. The city is stepping up its efforts to make private property owners and potential owners more aware of their responsibilities when it comes to stormwater drainage system maintenance. City staff is reaching out to community groups, neighborhood associations, and realtors, among others, to make sure that all property owners realize that maintaining drainage systems on their property is their responsibility. It is also the responsibility of property owners to remove any blockages or to fix any problems that come up within the systems. If there are questions about whether a drainage system is located on a particular property, owners or anyone thinking about buying a property can go to the city's online mapping program that shows the system as it is known.
On our website, we do indicate that pipes on private property are the property owner's responsibility to maintain, and on our mapping system, the pipe network has been shown for many, many years.
Anyone who is considering buying a property is especially encouraged to find out whether there have been any previous problems with the drainage system in that location, because that is something any buyer would want to know of ahead of time. Besides the mapping system located on the Public Works website, there are a number of other ways the city can help if you have questions about a drainage system located on your property. To find out what these are, you can either visit the Public Works homepage on the city's website or call 560-4326 extension 30234. For people tempted to drink and drive, the police department has an important message. It will cost you a lot. Find out how this newest addition to the police fleet is helping to drive home that point when City Hall This Week continues.
Did you know that over-fertilizing your lawn wastes money, hurts your grass, and pollutes our reservoirs by feeding problem-causing algae? So if you fertilize your lawn, find out what kind of grass you have and how to care for it. Don't fertilize if heavy rain is forecast, and never leave fertilizer on driveways or sidewalks. Remember, clean water begins at home. A message from the North Carolina Clean Water Education Partnership. Learn more at nccleanwater.org.
Tom.
Oh, good morning, Mike.
Try data, can do it a little easier.
Welcome back. The city will continue to support efforts to ensure that domestic violence cases are handled as quickly and efficiently in the court system as possible. To that end, the city will pay $84,000 towards salary and benefits for a district court judge to hear domestic violence cases. It will also pay $52,000 towards salary and benefits for a victim legal assistant. The person in that position assists with administrative duties at the domestic violence court. The city's human relations staff says this specially trained team is an important part of the effort to reduce domestic violence and to improve victim safety and offender accountability. Durham residents and visitors are now among the first in the nation to try out 911 texting. Starting this month, residents who are also Verizon Wireless customers can send a text message for emergency help.
Text to 911 is that process that instead of texting to a friend or to a business with a 5-digit code, once texting to 911 becomes available, you'll be able to simply put in 3 numbers, 911, and not have to worry about five numbers or a name of a business. And that message will come directly to the Durham Emergency Communications Center, and we will respond just like we would today for the hearing impaired with what they call TDD devices. We'll be able to talk directly, or not talk, but type back directly to that person through that 3-digit 911 code.
The Durham Emergency Communications Center is the first 911 center in North Carolina and the second center in the nation to try the text to 911 technology. Because it is a trial program for Verizon Wireless customers only, there are several parameters to be aware of before sending an emergency text message.
If you have any of the other carriers, AT&T, Sprint, or some of the smaller ones, this trial will not work. This is simply 911 for Verizon Wireless, which we are excited about because they are one of the larger carriers in the country. But you have to realize that again, it's not instantaneous or as instantaneous as a voice. You should only text us in those situations that would put you in more danger if your voice were to be heard. Some of the other limitations are: do not use slang or traditional abbreviations, which is common when people text to each other. You know, we'll need you to spell it out. The other thing is, we will not know your location. That will not come into the 911 center with that text message. We will not know your location until you tell us, and that'll be the first question that we ask is, where are you? What is your location? And that way we can at least send you know, a response in case something happens. And sometimes text messages can be delayed due to network congestion. That is rare, but there is a possibility for that to happen, and possibility that the messages can be received out of order in some point. Also, text messages have a limitation of 160 characters, you know, per message that you send. So responses have to be short, you know, and to the point, and without abbreviations, because and abbreviations can mean anything, and we want to make sure that it's as clear as possible. So those are the key things to remember.
For more information about the Text to 911 trial period, visit the Durham Emergency Communications Center homepage on the city's website. The Durham Police Department has a new way of calling attention to the issue of drinking and driving. The Choose Your Ride vehicle is a half patrol car, half taxi cab hybrid, literally spelling out the cost of drinking too much and then getting behind the wheel of a car.
I've got a vehicle that the front half of the vehicle is a marked police car, and the back half is mocked up to look like a taxi cab. The purpose of the car is to get your attention, and the theme of the car is called Choose Your Ride. And if you look at the car up close, the back half says this ride about $20, and the front half says this ride about $1,668 plus. On the hood of the car, those costs are broken down, and that doesn't even include such things as attorney's fees, insurance, and so forth. And what that means is, if you take a cab ride home, it'll probably cost you about $20. If we end up arresting you because you've driven while impaired, the cost will be significantly higher. So we're trying to get people to make a choice not to drink and drive.
The vehicle was an old patrol car that was about to be auctioned before Assistant Chief Lee Russ came up with the idea.
Actually, when I was in Savannah, Georgia last year, I saw a car that was fixed up just like this from the Savannah Police Department. I thought it was a great idea. It got a lot of attention when I was down there, so I decided to bring the idea back to our department. We actually kept a car off the auction line, and that's what we used, and the only expense to us really was the wrap, which is the back half of the car.
The car will now be moved throughout the city to help heighten awareness of the issue.
Our goal is to move the vehicle around in the city where it will get attention. We will move it to the entertainment areas, such as where there are bars and so forth, sporting events. We're looking to put it on campuses, high school prom, freshman move-in at the area universities, anywhere we think that the message will get out.
To schedule an appearance for the car at an event, contact the police department at 560-4322, extension 29196, or through email at lee.russ@durhamnc.gov. Small business owners looking for tips on growth and management can now look to the city for free help. Find out how when City Hall This Week continues.
Just close my eyes and I'm with you, and all that I so wanna give you, it's only a
You don't have to be a hero to be a hero. When you adopt a child from foster care, just being there makes all the difference.
Traction control, front and rear crumple zones, anti-lock braking system. For all the modern safety features an automobile has, a motorcycle has none of them. In North Carolina, there were 3,500 motorcycle crashes last year, killing 151 riders. Remember, in order for your helmet to do its job, you need to do yours first. Make sure it's a compliant helmet. For more information regarding training in your area, visit bikesafenc.com.
The city is offering some free help to small businesses looking for a way to grow. The city's Equal Opportunity Equity Assurance Department is providing a year-long series of free seminars designed to teach successful small business management.
Over the years, my department has worked with many small businesses and have heard them ask for particular types of information. And because we've sort of cataloged that in our thought process, we have decided at this point to offer at least a series of 6 programs over the next fiscal year that we hope will support the growth and development of all small businesses here.
The workshops will feature city staff from several different departments as well as other local professionals.
We're offering a sort of variation of seminars open to any and all small businesses in the area that might be interested in a particular subject matter. For instance, we will be talking about doing business with the local governmental entity, and specifically the city of Durham. And in that seminar, we're going to be not only offering an overview of our procurement process, we will also have all of the large departments who have business opportunities present, and they will talk specifically about the procurement opportunities that they might have and how things get done within their departments. So we think that will be particularly useful. We're going to have another seminar that addresses small business assistance programs. And we would be offering information on both technical and financial assistance programs that are available but may not be known by small business entities that could support their current development and their future development. We will be offering information on bonding and insurance, and bonding often is necessary for construction businesses, but insurance is required by many different types of business entities. And so we'll be covering that kind of information.
Participants are required to register for each seminar by visiting the Equal Opportunity Equity Assurance Department's homepage on the city's website. A new feature is being added to Durham Central Park, one that's sure to benefit most, if not all, visitors to the city-owned facility. A $30,000 shade structure is being donated for the park by Durham Central Park Incorporated. The structure, named The Leaf, is being built in the eastern portion of the park. It was designed by architecture students in the NC State University School of Design. The facility is expected to primarily be used on a daily basis as a seating and shade structure. It will also enable the eastern portion of the park to be used as an amphitheater where small performances and movies can take place. The facility is expected to be finished by the end of this month. A new Amtrak locomotive pays tribute to Durham. Find out what it has to do with the city's past, present, and future when City Hall This Week continues.
hero. When you adopt a child from foster care, just being there makes all the difference.
Butler residents?
Everything that gets into our storm drains, soap, pesticides, pet waste, whatever, makes its way straight to our streams and into where you swim, what you drink, and where you fish. Stormwater runoff is our biggest source of water pollution. You're the solution now that you know where it goes.
Welcome back. Durham's legacy as a railroad town is now being commemorated through a recently christened Amtrak locomotive. The 1869 City of Durham locomotive was officially christened on July 25th by Miss North Carolina Haley Best. The locomotive was refurbished with $545 million in funding from the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act and will serve the Piedmont corridor between Raleigh and Charlotte. Mayor Bill Bell says the locomotive represents the importance of a strong transportation system for Durham and the region.
Transportation is an integral part of linking communities, improving mobility and stimulating our economy. With recent revitalization activities in downtown Durham and increased investments throughout the city, we've seen how Durham's investments in infrastructure has been possible to make some of these business investments even more attractive. And it certainly had a very positive impact on our economy. And I hope as this locomotive travels between Raleigh and Charlotte, it represents the essence of this great city and bringing residents and visitors to Durham for many more years to come.
Congressman David Price was also on hand for the event, saying it's fitting to have a locomotive named for the city of Durham.
After all, this is a railroad town. That's how Durham was founded. Its first step in becoming a major city was in 1854, when the North Carolina Railroad Company decided to locate a station here in the town on 4 acres of land donated by Dr. Durham, near what's now Corcoran Street. Since then, the city's presence on the rail, the city's status as a rail center, has bolstered our economy, has helped build the city, has brought visitors to the community.
Now, as North Carolina Transportation Secretary Gene Conti pointed out, the 1869 locomotive will have an important role in the future of North Carolina's rail system. It will perform the daily function of pulling Piedmont passenger trains along the rail corridor.
She will be a proud symbol and reminder of this city's importance to our rail program and our shared vision of a multimodal, balanced transportation system. Long may she roll.
And finally, neighborhoods across Durham are taking a stand against crime. City leaders took part in an official kickoff event for National Night Out on August 1st, which then led to dozens of neighborhood events throughout Durham on August 2nd.
The reality is that without the neighborhood input, without the courageous citizens, we really could get nowhere with a lot of the crime in the city. These events, National Night Out, is just a statement that we're making loud and clear that should resound throughout the entire year, that the city of Durham is not going to take it, that the community is going to be responsible for itself, and it's going to work with its police department and with other city departments, because it's all one, the city of Durham, in order to make this a safer city. And the individuals who win behind that is every citizen and every visitor to the city of Durham. And that's why today is an extremely important day.
The police department also used the event to introduce its new resident awareness program to address burglary trends. Those trends are based on an idea called the near repeat theory.
What that theory says is that once a residence has been burglarized, there's an increased risk that that same residence and ones nearby are going to be burglarized within the next couple of weeks.
As shown by the crimes mapped here, it's a theory that has proven itself to be true in Durham. That's why the department's crime prevention unit will soon be focusing on areas that are clearly becoming targets for criminals.
The crime prevention unit will go out to these locations, and first of all, they're going to inform the residences of that risk that we talked about. Plain and simple, there's been a burglary to a residence in your neighborhood, and your house is at increased risk of also being burglarized sometime over the next couple of weeks. It's not to create any kind of panic, but to inform, because we know statistically that it's true. So we might as well tell the individuals who are in that neighborhood what's going on. Another thing that they will do, and this is not just for the house that got burglarized, but what they'll do is they'll take all of the houses on the same side of the street within that same block. They'll target those first, and then they'll target all of the residences on the opposite side of the street in that same block. Or if it's in an apartment complex, they'll probably target all of the apartments that are within a particular building and the ones on either side. So in addition to informing the residences about the residents about this increased risk, they're also going to give them information about how to make their resident harder to burglarize, how not to become a victim.
The department has applied for a federal grant to help provide the overtime funds needed to support the program. That does it for this edition of City Hall This Week. Be sure and visit DTV8 on Facebook and Twitter to find out how you can tune into this show, City Life, and all the city's programming. You can also find us on demand on the city's website at durhamnc.gov/DTV8. I'm Amy Blaylock. Thank you for joining us for City Hall This Week.